ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम। Good compliments and greetings on this day of Bali Pratipada. Today we will first reflect on the epical story of Bali and then see our topic, right is might. It so happened that after churning of milky ocean, the ambrosia, the immortality drink came out, and Mohini avatar, a celestial deluding damsel. So in that form, Lord Vishnu incarnated himself and distributed that ambrosia to gods. Then gods defeated demons. At that time, their head was this Bali. This Bali's father is Virochana, and Virochana's father is the great devotee Prahlad. Though born in demon's clan, he was sincerely and fully devoted to Lord Narayan. Afterwards, this Bali was revived by the grace of austerity of the Brahmanas, the very calm, quiet, knowledgeable and penance doing persons of Bhrugu Vansha under the leadership of Shukracharya. So he was their spiritual teacher. And then Shukracharya and other Brahmanas, they empowered Bali so much so that again he attacked on gods and he got victory over them. He conquered them. So, how it happened? So, when Bali respected and revered all these austerities, and then he pleased them with big gifts, liberal gifts, and he obeyed them, he served them very sincerely, regularly, punctually. So, they all had very good disposition towards Bali. They always thought of his welfare and they advised him accordingly, and he obeyed that advice. They made Bali to do a great sacrifice, and he did according to their instructions. From that sacrifice, when these Bhrugus and Shukracharya, they invoked the grace of fire god. From that sacrifice came an invincible chariot full of all weapons. Also, a divine quiver that will never exhaust of arrows. His grandfather Prahlad gave him a conch. So, in this way, he got equipped with super powerful weapons and instruments. Then, along with his huge army of demons, he attacked. So, when Indra and other devatas saw the strength of Bali, they went to their teacher Brahaspati and reported him that Bali is coming with so much enthusiasm and so much eagerness to kill them, and all his followers are also having as if the power of 1000 elephants. They are so determined, they are looking as if they will lick the whole sky in themselves and they will burn the whole quarters, all the quarters with their eyes. Brahaspati said, yes, what you say is correct. They are in form now, and neither you nor your fellow gods, they will be able to kill him and kill this all army. So, this time is unfavorable to you. So, better you vacate the heaven. So, they did that. All gods and Indra, the king of gods, they vacated their posts, their all rights, and their all majesty. And thus, Bali became the whole one owner of all the three worlds. And again, this Shukracharya and Bhrigu, they made him do 100 horse sacrifices, Ashwamedha Yajna, so as to whatever this all regal position and the divine authority he has got to rule over the worlds, three worlds, the interspace, the heaven, and the earth. So let that retain, let that be maintained. With this purpose in mind, they made him do 100 sacrifices. and Bali did that. So in this way, he was just enjoying that all riches, that all prosperity he got. But along with this prosperity, some arrogance comes. And though he was very religious, always doing charity, but he has that pride in mind that I give, I fulfill the wish of the holy men. I give whatever they want. And this pride reached up to this point that whenever a person asks any favor from me and I fulfill that, then he need not have the cause to go and ask something from others. So, in this way, ignorance and ignorance bond, arrogance and pride that was there. But overall, he was doing that good governance. And when these gods fled from heaven, naturally their mother Aditi, she also became bereft of that position, and she was staying in ashram. So her husband, the Lord of creation, Prajapati, Kashyapa, was the son of Marichi. Once after long time spent in samadhi, absorption, he came to her ashram, her home, hermitage. Then he at a glance noticed that no one in the ashram and even Aditi herself was in joyful mood. They were gloomy. But Aditi welcomed him, offered him seat, washed his feet, hands, gave water, gave a good bath, served food, fanned him, gave all unguents, etc., sandal paste, flowers, floral wreath, and then she was sitting there. So Kashyap asked whether all the holy men, see, this is the style of asking whether everything goes well. Kashyap asks Aditi whether all the holy men are doing good. I hope they do not face any difficulty. Whether the creatures, moving, unmoving creatures, living, non living, so they are doing well. Whether any guests that might come without noticing, atithi, and whether mendicants, holy men, etc., are served well. It seems that you are sad. So, whether from you, any of your oblation, daily worships, waiting on fire, all your duties, household duties, spiritual and religious duties are all performed well. So, in this way, he was trying to know what was the cause of that sorrow. Aditi said, "Oh God, oh Lord," because husband is Lord. When you are there to advise me on the matters of religious, there will not be any cause for me to get gloomy. All the holy men are doing well. All the mendicants and guests get water, food, and place to rest in our ashram. All living, non living beings are doing well. And especially when you are there, who always very kindly thinks of the welfare of us, then we have no fear and no need to worry. So you then to think about me, who am deprived of my rightful place in heaven as the mother of gods, my children, all 12 Adityas, etc. They are conquered by this Bali. They are removed from their places. Their rightful authority is taken away by Bali. And so I am very much worrying and sad and sorrowful to see their plight. They are grief stricken. So you please then to think something, some solution on this. What should I do? So that they again get their royal place to stay. I see again them relaxed with their wives in luxury and comfort. So in this way, she puts forth her grievance in front of her husband, Kashyap Muni. So Kashyap Muni first folds his hands and say, "Oh, great is the Maya of Lord Vishnu. In this world, we are just concerned with each other only since our either birth or marriage or birth of our children. But still, we consider them as me and mine. Otherwise, if you see objectively, who is whose son and daughter and husband and wife and brother and sister? So, in this way, first he thinks, and then he smiles and says, really, whatever difficulty we have, we should go and surrender to the Lord only. He is the one who is all pervading and staying in and out our heart and knowing each and everything, and who is almighty, all powerful, omnipotent to help us in any way. He is the great intelligence. So Aditya again asked Kashyap, in what form should I invoke the grace of that Lord? In what way should I propitiate him? How he will be pleased with me and how he will consider my sorrow. So Kashyap remembered that once when he was on his duty to produce all the worlds, all the creatures, good and bad, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Same question he had asked to Brahmadev, the firstborn, the father, grandfather, great grandfather of everybody. So he said, Aditi, that time Brahmadev told me to do one vow, means one special worship of Lord Vishnu, and it is called Payovrata. Payovrata is subsisting on milk alone for 12 days and then doing all puja and japa and dhan and with other rules and regulations. So Aditi asked Kashyapa, please tell me that whole ceremony of Payovrata, the milk vow. Then Kashyap told that it is to be done in the Falgun month, lunar month of Falgun, in the bright fortnight, 12 days. So before that, means the 14th day of earlier month, dark fortnight, one has to go into the jungle, and if possible, one has to search for the mud, the clay, the earth that is dug by wild boar. Wild boar is Varaha, and Varaha is one of the incarnation of Lord Vishnu to save, to re-establish this earth which was taken by Hiranyaksha. So the soil dug by wild boar is considered very sacred. So one has to gain that if possible. Then applying that soil, that clay to the body, one has to take bath. This is all preparatory, means like Eve. Earlier day it is done. Then while taking that soil and taking bath, one has to pray to Lord, this goddess of earth deity. That oh Rasa, one of the name of earth is Rasa. So oh Rasa, oh Prithvi, oh Dhara, oh Vasundhara, you are saved by Lord Himself in the form of boar when Hiranyaksha was taking you down. So please end all my sins. Please make me pure. And then one has to pray to Lord Vishnu also. So you are the great God who sees that this whole world is created, maintained, and then dissolved again. You are there, prompting and inspiring each and every action at speech level, intellect, mental level, or physical level. You are there in the form of all good and bad, righteous and unrighteous. You are very compassionate. You are very forgiveness giver. And you are the abode of all happiness. So in this way, one has to praise that Lord. And then we have to invoke Him. Though you are all pervading, please come in this idol, in this picture, in this frame, so that I could offer a symbolic worship as a token of my gratitude and devotion towards you. So, in this way, one has to invoke and invite that God in our place of worship, either be that idol or this earth or sun or one's teacher or water. Then, one by one, all the rites of rituals of that puja, that worship are to be done. That first he has to be given then seat, then we have to wash his feet, then hands, then we have to give water to sip, and then we have to bathe him with different liquids and give a special bath called Abhishek, and then wiping his body, we have to give him nice clothes, 2 pairs, a pair of garments, then all ornaments, whatever possible. then flowers and floral wreath, then other scents, fragrance of different types, then incense sticks and lamps, and then nicely prepared food. And while taking that food, we have to fan him. After food, we have to entertain him by whatever he likes. And God likes the recitation of Vedas, hymns, Puranas, Ramayana, Bhagavad, Mahabharat. So in this way we have to do his entertainment, that is Rajopachar. And then we have to take him and make a ferry through a boat, on a horse, or elephant ride, camel ride, and through night also, starlit night, we have to take him out. Then dance, instrumental music, classical music, various types of acting, dramas and skits in which his own leelas are acted upon. So in this way, different presentations to make him pleased. So in this way, this puja is to be done. And then for that puja, whoever holy men, brahmanas, etc. have come, so feed them to their content. Gift them with whatever they want. And also monetary gift. And also afterwards, feed all the servants, etc., neighbors, family people, friends, and then at last one has to take food with their permission, whatever has remained out of that. So in this way the first day. Then from second day actually the vow starts. So from there, daily, early in the morning, one has to get up and give a milk bath to that deity, Lord Vishnu. And then he has to sustain on only milk. But he has to feed other people as earlier day. In this way, 12 days he has to continue. 12 days he has to follow these rules, that no other talk other than God. Only japa, repetition of his name, meditation on him, his sports, his virtues, his form, and his inherent nature. Then he has to follow this rule also, that he has to sleep on the ground, not on cot, etc. So in this way, fully devotional environment, he has to spend these 12 days. And at the end, then he has to give gifts to holy men, etc. And in this way, this Payovrata is to be concluded. So Kashyapa tells everything, and Aditi follows that meticulously. With each and every minute detail, she follows that. And lo, at the end of the 12 days, when she just earnestly and very sincerely praying from the bottom of her heart, Lord appears there with all four arms, discus, lotus, mace, and conch, shankha, chakra, gada, dhara. And then she just becomes very overwhelmed with joy because of the presence of God in form in front of her. And afterwards, she just comes to her senses and start praising him. And then God says, I know what is there in your mind. You want your sons to become again king of the heaven. So definitely I will think of this some solution, because Bali, straightly I cannot go and kill him because he is good. But only some these defects are there, that pride and egotism born out of ignorance, etc. So I will enter with subtle form in Kashyap, and through him in your womb, and will be born as Vaman, Indra's small younger brother. Upendra is called. So in this way God says and enters into. Kashyap also is knowing because of his absorption and because of his knowledge that these things are happening. So Kashyap also realized, experienced that yes, God has entered in me in subtle form. And then Aditi, on Vamana Dwadashi, it is called Vijaya Dwadashi also. In Shravan Dwadashi it is. Vaman avatar comes there. And then first like Vishnu only. And then as a mendicant, means brahmachari, a short brahmachari, but beautiful, very resplendent, splendorous. And to him, every god comes and like do whatever rituals to be done at the birth of a child. And of course, Upaniyan means threading ceremony, that also they did. And sun god, he tells Gayatri. Then moon god, he gives a staff, wooden staff to him. Then this earth deity, goddess earth, she gives black deer skin to sit on. Saraswati, the goddess of speech and knowledge, she gives a rosary, a beads to do a japa, repetition of name. And Annapurna Mata Bhavani, she gives aims in the vessel which is given by Varuna and Kubera. So in this way, this brahmacharin Vamana gets all the necessities that is there suited for that form. And very brilliant and bright, he starts towards Bali's Yajnashala. When Bali sees that, he becomes very pleased that, oh, such a bright and brilliant person has come to me. And definitely for some asking, because much bigger yajna is going on. So he worships him and tells, what do you want? So it is actually a style of giving and taking, that the taker, this who has gone there to ask for something, he has to first do some praise of the giver. So extolling Bali, this Vaman says, your grandfather Prahlad is a dear devotee of Lord Vishnu. Your great grandfather and your great grandfather uncle Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, they were also very brave and famous in all three worlds. They never get any person who can fight with them. And when Hiranyakashipu heard of this, that Lord Vishnu has killed Hiranyaksha, he went there to take a avenge. And at that time, Lord Vishnu thought, wherever I go, he will come to search me. So he is extrovert, a thorough extrovert. So let me enter in himself only. He will never go within and become introvert. So he became so subtle that with his breath, Hiranyakashipu's breath, he entered himself and stayed there. So afterwards, Hiranyakashipu came here. And then your father Virochan was also very much devoted to holy men. He gave his body also when they asked the aims of that kind. Though he was knowing that they are not beggar, they were not holy men, but they were devas, they were gods. So in this way, in your clan, in your lineage, very noble and regal people were born. So give me only three paces of this land. So Bali laughed. So you are childish. You are not asking for anything that will be there enough for your life. He said, no, I want only three paces of land. And then when Bali was about to pour water, yes, I will give, like this, promising. His spiritual teacher, Shukracharya, he just prevented him. And he said, he is not a simple brahmacharin. He is Lord Vishnu. He will, when you pour water to promise the charity, he will become very great, big, and he will cover all the earth in one pace, one stride, and second stride he will put in earth, heaven also. And then Tartiyasya Kagati is where he will put his third step. So Bali said, whatever it is, you are giving advice for my good only, but I will not budge from my resolution. I have told him that you will get what you want. So definitely I will give him whoever he may be. Come what may, I will not deny now my own promise. So Vindhyavali, wife of Bali, she brings a golden vessel, and from that Bali washes the feet of Vaman and then gives his charity, means leaves his water. And slowly this Vaman stature starts increasing and growing bigger and bigger and started touching the skies. All the trees, rivers, mountains, all the plants, animals, birds, serpents, all the human beings and demons, all is seen in his body. Such a Virat roop he takes. Bali sees himself also in his body, and with that huge form, he places one foot on earth. Complete earth is covered, and with his hands, he covers all the directions and the inner intermediary space. And the second foot he places, so that time he touches Satyaloka, Brahmalok also, and all the intermediary lokas, Maha, Jana, Tapa, and of course heaven. So when Brahmadev sees that lustrous nail of Lord is there, he immediately goes and worships them. And that water from Brahmadeva's water vessel, Kamandalu, which has touched Lord's feet, becomes Ganga, and it flows from heaven, intermediate region, and earth also. Jambavan, to declare the victory of Lord, goes round 7 times that big universal form and declares this to all on a drum. And afterwards, this Vamana comes to his own stature again. He gives up that big form and then asks Bali, now in front of you, I have covered this earth in first step, heavens up till Satyaloka in second. Now where should I put this third step? Now there is no place of yours to put this third step. So you must go now to heaven because you have deceived me. You have made your promise a lie. So Bali says, no, I have not yet did that. My head is there. So you put my on my head the your third face. And then Lord says Garuda, means with a just gesture only, not with words. And he ties him with a pasha, with a cord of Varuna. Then Shukracharya, also who has earlier cursed Bali, that you are not obeying me, you are not following my advice, so you will be deprived of all your wealth. So, in the same way, all the authority, all the position, and power is taken away from this Bali because of this arrogance. And then his follower come to fight with Lord, but Bali says, "Stop. This time is not favorable to us. So you please stop." And afterwards, when time will be in favor of us, again we will win over gods. Now, this Lord who is there in demons as well as gods. So, when he becomes favorable to us, we win. When he becomes favorable to gods, they win. So, this Rahu, Namuchi, they all just went to the nether worlds, Patal. And there Prahlad comes. Prahlad says, "Oh God, you alone have given this earlier to Bali prosperity, and now you alone have taken it up. It is good only. It suits you. Whatever you do, that is nice." And then Brahmadev comes. Brahmadev says, "See, this Bali is very innocent. Why you are tying him up?" So the Lord says, "To whom I want to bless, first I take out everything." In this world also we see, like Sudama, who are completely devoted to Lord, but very poor. And even if they go and start some venture, some business, they will have failure there. They cannot be successful there. Because God do not want them to have support of anything else than Himself. In this way, God tells that now you see my grace on him. So he says, "Bali, you go to the Sutala Loka, and there that Bhogavati, Patal Nagri of serpents are also there, and that is equally prosperous like heaven. So you stay there without infringement of anybody, and I myself will guard you against all other attacks, etc." Prahlad, you will also see me there every time. And you will have my darshan, and slowly all your cords of ignorance they will go, and you will revel in infinite bliss of the nature of self. So in this way, Bhagavan asks Shukra also, Bhrigu, to complete the ritual, whatever because of these incidents, whatever was incomplete. So that also. Shukra says, "Where you yourself appear, so everything is complete only." But still, as per instructions of God, Shukracharya also completes that ritual, Somopan, etc. So that all is over. So in this way, this today's day is the return of Bali to Patala. And there, thus Bhagavan fulfills the desire of Mother Aditi and gives all gods, including Indra, their rightful position, post, and all governance of these three worlds. So they again become very pleased and happy. And these gods are all sattvic and always taking surrender, always submitted to the Lord only. Therefore, they had some weakness, but they were not wicked. They were all righteous people. And today, we are also thinking on right is might. So, this righteousness is a power. Generally, we hear might is right, but no, really, right is might. Even if in some government departments also, which are very corruption and all bribery, etc., infested with that, ill famed with that. They say that we have to give G form over and above the receipt that we will get, we have to give G form. And also some money from under the table for chai pani, tea and water, etc. So in such departments also, when a person who is very adherence to rules, sticking to rules, and not accepting any pie, any rupees over and above his pay, and doing his work well. So, to such person, secretly, all other corrupt officials are afraid, and they also respect in their heart of hearts, though they will outwardly oppose such person and will cause his transfer also. And now, what is this right? So, right is in our Sadachar, it is called Sat. Right is truth, right is correct, right is perfect. In our brain also, there is right and left part. So, sometimes it is said that there is nothing right in the left part and nothing left in the right part. So, this right, very small things, like when some person comes or we meet, then first greet, first ask, how are you? First welcome with a smile. Yes, I'm glad that you came. I'm happy that you arrived in our house or I see you. So in this way, this is small gesture. Then help whatever you can, you help to get others work done. This is right. And of course, the ultimate meaning, this very profound and highest meaning of this is Sat. So that Sat is the pure existence. That Sat is devoid of any names and forms. And that is imperishable, infinite, immortal. And that is the true nature, that is the core personality of everybody. So, this Sat, as Shankaracharya says in the verse of Gita, chapter 2, when he explains, Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha. So, when that existence is, it never becomes non existence. And whatever non existence is, that never becomes existent. So, to explain this game of word, play of word, as if Adya Shankaracharya tells that when we say that something is, suppose a pot is, then there are two thoughts in that. One is pot thought and second is isness, is thought. So even if the pot is broken, the is thought is there because the pieces of that pot are. So that isness is there. In this way, wherever we go, like you take from a seed, name and form will change, that will end, but isness will be there. It's sprouted. So the seed is not seen now. Name, seed, and the form is not there, but that sprout is there. Then a small sapling came. So the sprout, name, and form is not there, but isness is there because sapling is. It grew into a plant. So that sapling is not there, but plant is. So isness is there. In this way, existence is there at every time. Actually, this time alone is in existence. So that is Sat. That is this right. This is spiritually. But in our empirical standpoint, our transactional standpoint, this right is all the values, good values and virtues that are respected and revered at any place and at all the times. When one is righteous, this right and righteous, so one becomes free from stress and tension. They say that stress is the distance between your bedroom and drawing room. Means how you actually are and how you show how you are. This difference is a stress. When we start to appear in front of the world, what actually we are not, then that causes stress in us. So, in this way, when we are right, then we become stressless. This truth empowers our mind with strength and luster. It integrates our personality. And whatever ethics and morality that we follow, that allow us to go into sleep, just we touch our back to our bed. Otherwise, one has to take resolve to the sleeping pills, and sometimes that also doesn't work because the pills it themselves have sleeping. Even after 20, 30 years, even after retirement, the person who is very straightforward and righteous behavior, he thanks himself that yes, he walked on that path. People also get inspired from that. They also remember that. Otherwise, always there is a feeling of guilt when one crosses these ethical rules. In a sense, this right is might. This might, as Bhagavan Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, this might is He. This right is also He. Righteousness is also He. And might, the bala, balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam. So I am the might which is free from, which is devoid of desire and attachment. That strength which is used to protect the poor, to guard the weak, to help the needy. That strength is me. That's what Bhagwan also says. When one is right, righteous, then his mind becomes strength and this Ichha Shakti is power of desire, willpower, then power of action, Kriya Shakti, dynamism, and Jnana Shakti means power of knowledge, power of wisdom that comes. Means that right alone gets expressed through these three types of might. And when person spends life cautiously, vigilantly, and very alertly, then he becomes fit for knowledge. His mind becomes pure of any attachments, any likes and dislikes, and then he becomes fit for knowledge of the self, and that liberates him, and that gives him the unending happiness forever. Actually, this right is might. And what are the virtues this right covers? You may think on yourself also, this is a big topic. We just touched upon it with the help of that Bali's story. We pray like Vibhishan asked the boon after his austerity, that may my mind be always on righteous path. Never even now this Bali Pratipada also we celebrate on his name. Why? Because his teacher told that you will have nothing for yourself if you sanction this charity. So Bali said, even if I am left with nothing, I lose everything, still I will adhere to my words. I will keep my promise. So in this way he was very firm in righteousness, and therefore we celebrate this Bali Pratipada after his name. So let us pray that whenever there is confusion, whenever there is instigation, let our mind remain firm, determined, unchecked, unperturbed on the path of righteous path. Because that alone will cause our good in long run, and that alone will give us happiness. Here we stop. Once again, all the good compliments and greetings to everybody on this Diwali. Oh. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ श्री सीतारामचन्द्रार्पणमस्तु।